What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is yours truly, Fitz. How you guys doing? Hope you're having a fantastic day. And the Sinister Cup has been announced, and as usual, we're going to go over my overall PvP analysis of the best 3 Pokemon of each typing. In this case, we have Ghost, Psychic, Steel, and Fighting. Now, it is one thing to notice that any type of Dark-type Pokemon is illegal in this tournament. So that means Sableye, Spiritomb. Any Pokemon that has Dark associated with its typing is illegal. Also, mythical Pokemon aren't allowed, so that means Jirachi and Deoxys. Skarmory is not allowed, and neither is Hypno. And without further ado, let's get into it. So first off, I'm going to start with the Ghost types. Alola Marowak, fantastic Pokemon. It maxes out a relatively low CP, 144 attack. Actually, we're going to go over the stats, so let's hold off on this. But let's look at the weaknesses. It's weak to Dark, Ghost, Ground, Rock, and Water. It really resists Bug, Fighting, and Normal, so this would be fantastic for a fighting matchup. Even a fighting Steel, like Lucario, for example. But let's look at the moves. This is what makes Alola Marowak a devastating opponent in Great League to begin with. You want to run Hex as a high energy per turn with Shadow Ball and Bone Club. Bone Club, you're going to get that more often than Shadow Ball. Your Shadow Ball is going to try to be your one-hit wonder, your one-hit KO type move, but Bone Club is going to be your move to remove shields. Definitely Shield Blast, Shield Bust, however you want to call it. It's going to be your shield move, and Shadow Ball is going to try to be your one-hit kill. We will go over the stats. I do have a spreadsheet here, like normal. I'm cutting off no one. Ooh, that's nice. So we'll go over the spreadsheet here after we go over each Pokemon and kind of dissect their stats and why they're good. Next up is Drifblim. This Pokemon's actually getting some use. It's got some good PvP moves. This actually could be a very good Pokemon even in the Ultra League, but it's making an appearance in the Great League. Now, it's weak to Dark, Electric, Ghost, Ice, and Rock. Again, that resistance to fighting is insane. So if you can go up against a fighting Pokemon, that's fantastic. Bug, Ground, Normal, Grass, and Poison. But the moves are actually pretty good. Hex again, with Shadow Ball, Ominous Wind, and Icy Wind. Now the interesting thing is Ominous Wind gives you a possibility to buff your moves, I do believe. Similar to Ancient Power. But see, Icy Wind does super effective damage against Dragon, Flying, Grass, and Ground. You're not going to come across any grass types. Well, you could. You can come across a Breloom. Ground types? Steelix, but Steelix resists ice, so it would do heavy neutral damage. Honestly, this one's up to you. Do you want to take that risk and try to get a buff with Ominous Wind? It's a 10% chance. Shadow Ball, we know, hits like a truck. It's a very good move. Now, Icy Wind, it charges up pretty fast too. It gives you more coverage, but coverage relative to what? I mean, another Drifblim maybe? Skarmory's not in here anymore. So, interesting. I would test this Pokemon out first. It's got fantastic stats. Like I said, we'll go over them after we go over all the Pokemon. But this is interesting. It does have good moves, though, in terms of PvP. But it would probably do better in an open tournament as opposed to this kind of tournament. Next up is Dusclops. I chose Dusclops over Haunter because how squishy Haunter is. It's still a pretty good Pokemon to use, but I decided to choose Dusclops instead. It's only weak to Dark and Ghost. That's a huge thing. Of course, Haunter's, I think, is the same way, but still. But let's look at the moves. The moves are actually pretty good. Hex, Ice Punch, Fire Punch, Shadow Punch. So it's a one-trick pony basically. Well, not one-trick pony. That's actually the opposite of what I meant to say. It's very versatile, actually. Super effective against Steel. So if you go up against a Lucario, bingo. Also super effective against Steelix. So this is a good Steelix counter. That's for sure. And Shadow Punch, doing super effective damage against Ghost and Psychic, so that's fantastic. That's what I'd run. Hex with Fire Punch and Shadow Punch, and Dusclops can be a monster. Okay, now we're going into the Psychic types. Not necessarily the fighting types, but the Psychic types. Medicham is a must. It's weak against Fairy, Flying, and Ghost, so Drifblim would be a great Pokemon matchup against this. Dusclops would be great. Alola Marowak, yeah, I could see that. But the thing is Medicham has fantastic moves. Depending on how you want to run your Medicham is up to you. Psycho Cut has a little bit more EPT than Counter, but Counter is just such a good move. Super effective against Steel types. Super effective against Bastiodon. Like, very effective against Bastiodon. So this would be a Bastiodon wall for sure. And you'd give it Drain Punch, or Drain Punch, Dynamic Punch. Honestly, I would probably run Power Up Punch and Dynamic Punch, because we already discussed that Ice Punch. Like I said, that's your Drifblim counter. I don't know. This is another one. Definitely Power Up Punch, and maybe Dynamic Punch for a one-hit KO. It's kind of entirely up to you. Next up is Xatu. Alright, so maybe Ice Punch would be good. Xatu. Xatu is weak to Dark, Electric, Ghost, Ice, and Rock. It really resists Fighting, Ground, Grass, and Psychic. Xatu has actually appeared in some Great League tournaments before, with Air Slash, Aerial Ace, and Ominous Wind. So it can do that Ghost type damage to take care of super effectiveness with Psychic and Ghost. So a Psychic mirror matchup, Xatu could win that. Aerial Ace also does super effective damage to fighting, so that's fantastic. Pretty good Pokemon. The only thing you have to worry about is Air Slash not doing very effective damage against Steel or Rock. So that would be Bastiodon, especially Bastiodon. That would be Lucario. Well, you'd be doing heavy neutral damage, so never mind. But you also have Bronzong, stuff like that, which we're going to be going over here pretty soon. Bronzong. Weak to Dark, Fire, Ghost, and Ground. It super resists Poison, Psychic, and it resists a slew of other things. This almost is a must at this point. Confusion is a very good move, and it has access to Psyshock now. Holy crap. That's right, it gave it Psyshock. So you're going to want to give it Psyshock for sure. And then probably give it Heavy Slam for just some, steel coverage if it wants to scroll down here. It's super effective damage to fairy types. I noticed King mentioned he's going to put Gardevoir. He's going to test both Gardevoir and Glade. I don't know how well those are really going to do compared to the meta that I'm bringing up right now. Of course, with all these Pokemon, you're going to want to test them. But I would do Heavy Slam and Psyshock. Bulldoze, I mean, what are you trying to accomplish with that? Steel and Rock, okay, that's fine. Fire, okay, that covers Alolan Marowak. I like these two moves though. Psyshock and Heavy Slam, absolutely. Confusion hits like a truck too. Bastiodon, we were already mentioning this, but it's really weak to fighting. So that's tough. That's tough. We'll just go over it a little bit here because we've gone over it in the past. Smackdown, Iron Tail. You have to have Flamethrower. You have to. And then have Stone Edge. Run Stone Edge, Flamethrower, you're good to go. Not much needs to be said about Bastiodon. My next Steel type is Mawile because of, well, its typing. Look at the resistances. Absolutely insane. It takes only neutral damage from fighting instead of super effective damage. But it is weak to Fire and Ground. But the moves are okay. Bite hurts, like, a lot. Bite hurts a lot, but you could go with Ghost Astonish. That's up to you, because they're both accomplishing the same thing, but which one's going to do more damage? It's going to be Bite. As far as moves go, I would definitely run Vice Grip, only because... would you? Wow. This was tricky. Play Rough is fine. Iron Head. It's a good Pokemon, but the thing is with Vice Grip is if you come across a Pokemon that's a Ghost, Rock, or Steel, which is highly plausible with what I've come across, so let's see. Marowak, not going to do anything. Drifblim, nope. Dusclops, nope. Medicham, okay, it's going to do neutral damage. Xatu, okay, neutral damage. Bronzong, no. Bastiodon, no. And then here we are. So about 50-50. I would test this Pokemon, and when we go over the stats, I'm going to iterate why Mawile could be really good. Next up is Steelix, weak to Fighting, Fire, Ground, and Water, and then it really resists some of these typings down here. So Steelix's best moveset in PvP, it's usually Iron Tail, but you come across another Steelix, or a Fairy type, which is very possible actually. It's tough, but you give it Iron Tail, and you're covering your Fairy types, maybe even Bastiodon, doing neutral damage. But Dragon Tail has a better EPT, so if you give it Crunch to cover Ghosts and Psychics, and then people run Earthquake on this Pokemon. Okay, so in this case, let's talk about it. It would win a mirror matchup against a Steelix that doesn't have Earthquake. It would really wreck Bastiodon. It would take care of Lola Marowak. It would take care of Bronzong. Take care of him a while. But if we gave it Heavy Slam, it wouldn't really take care of him a while. It really wouldn't. Okay, that wins it. Yeah. You're going to want to go with Earthquake. So Crunch Earthquake on Steelix. Primate actually has some use. Weak to Fairy, Flying, and Psychic, but the boos are give it counter with Low Sweep and Night Slash. If you have a Cross Chop one, absolutely. But this is interesting. It's the Dark move. You got coverage against Ghost and Psychic. Psychic, if you're getting hit with Confusion, you're probably going to get like 4 hit, unfortunately. But Low Sweep, I mean, it takes care of some of the Bastiodon, Steelix. Yeah. You could also match this up with against Lucario too, which is the next one. Fighting Fire and Ground, weak with a bunch of resistances. We already know how good Lucario is though, right? Bullet Punch, we want to run counter with Shadow Ball and Power Up Punch. That is the main set for Lucario, hands down. And then Poliwrath. Poliwrath is interesting. It's weak to Fairy, Flying, Grass, Psychic, and Electric. It resists Rock and Steel, which is kind of important. Give it Bubble. If you have Mudshot, give it Mudshot. Mudshot's going to cover Fire, Rock, and Steel. But Bubble, you're safe with Bubble. And give it Power Up Punch. See, this is where things get interesting. We talked about the Ice types. So right now, out of all the Pokemon that we have, Ice types. Ice type will cover Drifblim, Xatu. That's it. That's the issue. That's the issue with Ice. Now, there are... this is only with the meta that I'm proposing. But... Skarmory's not an issue. So I'd run Power Up Punch and Dynamic Punch. Power Up Punch, Shield Bait, but you get a 10% increase in attack. Dynamic Punch, when they can't shield it or don't want to shield it, 1-hit KO. So, let's go over the stats, starting with Bastiodon, Rock Steel. I did maximize the IV spreads for this, almost. This is a little bit different, but with Bastiodon, you can actually max it out at 15, 15, 15. Comes out to be level 38, 14, 96, level 38, level 40. Actually, you can't max this out. Or yeah, you can. 15, 15 at level 38. What am I talking about? Yeah. It's been a while since I've done this. 1496, 84 attack, 234 defense, 132 HP. Need I say more? This thing is a tank. Next up's Drifblim, Ghost Flying. With a 0 attack, 15 defense, 15 stamina, level 23.5, 1476 CP. You've got a 116 attack stat, which actually is not bad. You got a 75 defensive stat, which is the lowest out of all of these. But you have a 211 HP stat, which is pretty much almost double everything in here. So, the gap here is, well, look at this way. Look at this gap. It's about 100. This one's a little over 100, but the attack stat backs it up. So, I think Drifblim can be quite a foe. Next up is Dusclops with a 7 attack, 15 defense, 15 stamina at level 40. Gives you exactly 1500. So if you're wanting the ideal IV spread, that's it right there. Attacks 103, defense is 196. That's the second highest in this lot, and HP is 106. So it goes to show that Dusclops is actually pretty good. And I mentioned Haunter before. Haunter is very squishy. Dusclops does a pretty good job of being a ghost type. Next up is Steelix at 0 attack, 15 defense, 15 stamina, comes at 23.5 level, 1472 CP, 95 attack, which is the second lowest. 185 defense, that's the third highest, and 126 HP. So it's supposed to be another wall that's not going to deal too much damage, but it's going to take a lot of damage if it's in a favorable matchup. Alola Marowak, 0 attack, 15 IVs for both defense and stamina. Level 33 gives you a 1496 CP, and a 107 attack, 150 defense, that's actually not bad, and a 127 HP, that's around where we want it to be. So, Alolan Marowak, not bad. Next is Bronzor, or Bronzong, I should say. 0 attack, 15, 15 defense stamina, 25.5 coming into level with 1492 CP, gives us 108 attack, 153 defense, a little bit more than Alolan Marowak, and 122 HP. Not bad. Those are good stats. Medicham, you can max this Pokemon out at 15, 15, 15 at level 40. Gives you 1431 CP, 107 attack, 131 defense, 134 HP. So this one is pretty well rounded for the most part. Medicham, we already know how good Medicham is anyway, so no problems there. Poliwrath, 0, 15, 15 at 21.5 level. 1467 CP is what comes in. 112 attack, 123 defense, 137 HP. 137 HP, that's a little bit higher than I thought it was going to be. That's not bad for Poliwrath, that's good. Then we go with Mawile at 0, 15, 15. Level 40, you can max it out. 1490, 122 attack, 123 defense, 120 HP. I call that the Bermuda Triangle. Any way you can get an attack, defense, and HP in the 120s or higher for each stat, that's fantastic. It's very hard to do that in the Great League, and Mawile is one of the few Pokemon that can actually do it. As you see in this list, there aren't any Pokemon except for Mawile that has attack, defense, and HP above 120. So those are the magic numbers. I mean, obviously you got defense of Bastiodon, you've got HP of Drifblim, like well over 200, right? Well, that's fine. But as far as actual like evenness and well-roundedness, that's fantastic. 120, 120, 120. Yeah, that's fantastic. Xatu, 1479 with the 0, 15, 15, 15 at 25.5 level. 129 attack, 108 defense, 120 HP. So it's Xatu's actually going to hit really hard. So far, the hardest out of the bunch, but until we get to Primate. Primate, 0, 15, 15 at 24.5 level gives you 1493 CP, 136 attack, which is the second highest, 101 defense, 117 HP. And finally, the hardest hitting out of the bunch, but the most frail, Lucario. How I chose this IV spread was egg hatching. Yes, you can trade for Lucario, but I just did it. Not everyone has Lucario. Not everyone has hatched enough Riolus. The whole 9 yards, right? Some people haven't even hatched a Riolu. It's very possible. There's been a while. I still haven't hatched a Gibble, so I mean, it's possible. So I went with the lowest IV hatch you could get at 10, 10, 10, level 20. Your Lucario will come in at 1469 with a 146 attack stat, a 91 defense, and a 108 HP. So there you guys have it. There's the full analysis on the moves and the stats of the top 3, I think, best Pokemon of each typing: Ghost, Psychic, Steel, and Fighting. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Be a part of the Fitz fam and get more videos like this. That's it, boy Fitz. I'm signing off. See you guys in the next Pokemon Go video.